right, good afternoon, everyone. How is everybody today? Let me just get my lighting resituated here. Looks like I got a little bit shadowy here, but I think we'll be all right. Hello, 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 Janica and Scott and Faith. Good to see you guys here. Welcome in. Alexandrina and Ellie and Fairy Freak and Michelle and Karen and Wendy and Top Nail. Grand Bay Nails by J. Rob. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Hopefully, you are all having a wonderful day today. It is Monday, but we are going to have some fun. So, Monday Fun Day. I know we always say Friday Fun Day, but we're doing Monday Fun Day today. So, we're going to be doing kind of a crazy mix that kind of happened by accident. And I just wanted to show you because it really came out kind of a pretty color. So I'm going to share my happy accident with you guys today. So I'm just going to get my nails kind of ready to go here, and we will start prepping here in just a second. I'm pretty sure I just need one nail here, but you never know. So might as well clean that second one up there for you guys. But welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining us. If you are new to our channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you have been with us for a while, thank you for returning. We always love to see those familiar names in the chat. So definitely chat it up today, you guys. I love to hear what you guys are up to and love to see your thoughts in the comments there. So feel free, add your comments as we're going here. Love to see that. All right, so we're going to be doing a gel nail today, and a lot of the products that I'm going to be using are from some of the bundle deals that we've got going on for our sale right now. So if you haven't already, after the stream, make sure you jump over to youngnails.com, check out some of these bundle deals, and I'll kind of show you some things along the way here. So let's get started with our nail, and I'm just going to start by pushing back our cuticles, get those cleaned up. You guys, I know on our trainer hand, they don't have a whole lot of cuticle work, but obviously you guys can see on my nails, I always need cuticle work. Even especially in these dry months, my cuticles are getting really dry here. I'm trying to keep cuticle oil on them as much as possible. But back to our prep here. Always make sure that you are pushing back those cuticles, whether it's on your trainer hand or on a real person or on yourself. What you get in the habit of practicing on these trainer hands is what you actually will do on your real people. So if you're kind of skipping some steps when you're working on the trainer hand, chances are you're probably going to forget to do those steps when you're working on a real person. So that's why I always tell you, never skip those steps, even if you're just practicing. All right, I'm going to change out my sanding band here, get a clean new grit sanding band. And what I'm using today is our 150 Zebra sanding bands. These are a medium grit. So I'm just going to slide a brand new one on there. I always change these out, even if it's just for myself. If I'm just working on myself, I always put a new sanding band on there to make sure that I've got that good grit and a brand new bit there. Now we're going to prep, and I'm going to turn my e-file on to about 5,000 RPMs. Let me just change that view just a little bit. There we go. All right, that looks better. So I'm just going to come right up around my cuticle area, just kind of in short little motions all the way up around that cuticle, and then I'm going to feather my bit all the way through the rest of that, the length of the nail, making sure that I catch all the sides. And I've got a little bit of a shiny spot right back up there. We'll catch that. If you need to, if you kind of miss those sides at all, you can use the top part of the bit, come straight down on that left side there, use the base of the bit down on that right side. Again, just kind of feathering away that shine. Now that shine is basically the oily surface to the nail. So we want to basically break up those oils and then kind of give the nail a little bit of texture. So that's what we're doing when we're removing the shine like that. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my manicure brush. We're going to dust all of that dust off of the nail, pulling that down away from the cuticle, down all the way down along those sidewalls. And then we're going to grab our swipe. And you guys, swipe is a product that I use quite a bit of it throughout my service. So you'll see me use this at a couple of different points. But for now, I'm just going to pump a little bit of that onto my manicure brush. And this is what I'm going to use to clean the surface of that nail. So by using that swipe, that's going to help to pull off any of those extra oils that are on the surface of the nail. And it's also going to help to remove any germs, any bacteria, any really of those things that we don't want on the nail. So dirt, germs, bacteria, oils, dust, all of those things, our swipe is going to help to clean that off. Now we want to make sure that our nail comes back to, now you can see it's back to a nice clean, dry, dust-free, chalky surface. So we're ready to go with our protein bond. And you guys, I'm not sure what you are talking about in the chat with chickens out there, but whatever you got, I'm glad that you're enjoying your time here on our live stream. So next thing we're going to use as our protein bond. Protein bond works kind of like, I always say it works like a double-sided tape, or it works like an anchor. So wherever you put your protein bond, this is where your product is going to adhere to. So we want to make sure that we're keeping this away from the cuticle, away from the skin. So I start in the center of the nail and I brush that out to the sides, and then I brush back towards the cuticle. This way I'm not going to flood that product up into the cuticle or down along those sides at all. So making sure to keep that right on the nail, not on the skin. Now when we're doing a full set, normally I would go through all 10 nails with one coat, and then I would come back with a second coat of our protein bond. 2 coats for artificial nails, so if you're doing acrylics or hard gels, I always recommend doing 2 coats of the protein bond to really make sure we've got good even coverage, and this way we're going to get a really good bond all the way through those enhancements. Okay? All right. Got our protein bond on. You guys, let me know in the chat, what shape do you want to see today? Let me know. I would like to hear your feedback today, give you guys what you're looking for, but I am going to be using one of our XL forms. So do you want to see more of a stiletto nail today, or do you want to see a coffin or a square shape? Let me know in the chat. Almond, square. I'll kind of keep an eye on the chat here as I'm getting my form ready. But what I'm going to do, I've peeled off that form off the paper backing. I'm going to take out that little tab, and I always say the little tabs on our red forms look like the little dancing ghost. So we got our little dancing ghost. I'm going to pop that on the back. Stiletto, almond, square, almond. I'm seeing a lot of almond shapes. Okay, you guys, I'll do an almond shape. Square, square, almond. Okay. We're going to start whatever shape you are wanting to create. You're always going to pinch your tabs together. So on these forms, I'm going to pinch the 2 end forms together, and then the 2 middle tabs, the 2 end tabs and the 2 middle tabs together. So I'm going to not pinch together these back ones just yet. So let's start just kind of rolling that form in half. We're going to pinch those little tabs together nice and evenly. Whoops. Get those together as even as you can. And then we're going to pinch all the way down to the end. Now this form is definitely coming to a point. So if you were going to be doing a long stiletto nail, you could leave it to that point all the way down there. You could pinch that form a little bit shorter. So if you want to do more of a shorter nail, or maybe you want to do a coffin shape. So you can just kind of start to pinch that to whatever length and shape you want. Okay. All right, you guys, I saw a lot of almond shapes, but you know what? I feel like I do a lot of almond designs. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to change it up, and maybe we're going to do, let's do more of a coffin shape. Maybe, you know what? I didn't see a lot of coffins in the voting. Let's do a square nail. Let's do a square nail because I feel like I don't show that quite often enough. So let's go ahead and do a square. And you guys, those of you that want to see the almond or the or other shapes like that, we have tons of other videos that you guys can see those as well. Okay, but let's do a square today. So I'm going to start with getting that form, just kind of catching that form right underneath that free edge, and then I'm just going to lift up on the end. Now I'm going to turn this from the side so you can see kind of what's happening. So I'm going to start with that form and just kind of catch that free edge, and then lift up, rocking that form until it comes nice and straight out from that free edge. And then I'll secure that down on the sides. Okay, that's kind of what I was doing. You just got a different view of it. Now I really want to make sure that I've got my form straight. So I'm just going to kind of open it up here on the sides, and then just kind of readjust, making sure that that is coming nice and straight out from the finger. Now tuck those in on the side, and I'm going to pinch underneath there a little bit more. So this way I'm kind of coming in underneath here to pinch that, so I've got a really nice kind of a tube shape right through that whole form, okay? So this is how I'm going to be able to create that nice square, square nail, but it's going to have a nice tight C-curve to it, okay? I am going to do one thing. I'm just going to check this really quick. Now, normally you guys, I show you, make sure that your form is straight in line with the finger. And I always show you from this view so that I've got my orange wood stick here. So if I line my orange wood stick all the way straight through the center of that finger, that form should be coming straight out along the line of that orange wood stick. Now, another way you can check this is if you get your forms on all 4 fingers, turn that client's hand around. Let me readjust my camera here. Turn those fingers up and look at them this direction, okay? Those forms should be going nice and straight. Do you guys see how this form, it actually looks like it's kind of angling off to the side a little bit? I want to make sure to readjust that so that I know my form and my nail is going to be nice and straight once I sculpt it. Okay, so just checking from this view doesn't always give you the perfect angle. Sometimes it does help to turn that client's hand around, check that all 4 of those forms are going straight in line. So all 4 forms should be nice and straight and even with each other, okay? So again, always check your nails from all different angles when you're filing and when you're putting your forms on, so this way you know everything is going to be nice and straight, okay? Now, one thing I am going to do, again, let me readjust this here. For those of you that are new, make sure you hit your subscribe button, join our community here. Make sure you are part of our wonderful team that we've got of Young Nails family. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Okay, because I'm going to be doing not quite a nail all the way to the end of my form, I've got that form pinched. I'm just going to snip off the end just so that doesn't get in my way. So I just grabbed my little scissors and took off that end. You can leave that and work with it like that, but I actually like to kind of move that out of the way so that I've got a little more working room here. Now I'm going to start with, let me find it here. I'm going to start with my clear sculptor, and this is the clear sculptor in the precision applicator tube. You can use whatever gel that you want to sculpt out your free edge. If you want to use the clear sculptor in the pot, it is a little bit thicker than what's in the tube. So just a personal preference if you want to use that. But I'm going to start with just kind of squeezing a little bit of this gel right in that center, right kind of connecting to that natural nail. And I'm going to stop squeezing. And then I'm just going to use the nozzle to kind of spread that over to the other side. Same thing, grab a little bit more of that gel, kind of spread that over to my left side. Now I'm going to come back, I'm going to squeeze a little bit more. You can kind of see I'm bringing a little bit more out there. And then I'm just going to start to kind of float this down the length of my form. So however long I want this nail, I'm just going to kind of float that product down there. Now, if I feel like I need a little bit more, I can definitely squeeze a little bit more. And again, kind of floating that down the length of the form. And this is what's going to create basically a platform for us to put our design on and to do and to build out our nail. So again, we'll squeeze a little bit more, bringing that down. Now I'm going to just stop right about there because again, I told you guys I was doing a square nail and I kind of got sidetracked and almost forgot. And I almost ended up doing a stiletto here. But if you were going to do a stiletto, you could just continue to bring your product all the way down to that point that you pinched, okay? Now I'm going to grab this is our Pro Gel Sculptor brush. And you guys, this actually comes in the heart bundle and the broken heart bundle that we've got on our sale right now. Comes in 2 pieces. You saw I took that apart. So that cap works also as a brush handle. I love this brush because it's nice and versatile. You've got that brush cover in there, so you're always going to be able to keep that brush nice and clean. All right, let me come in a little closer again. So we're just going to use the brush. I'm going to kind of tuck that product right up into those corners, making sure that it is right up in there. And then I'm actually going to kind of feather that product down to the side here a little bit more to really make sure that I'm creating more of a square rather than that stiletto shape. But I do have my form pinched a little bit, so we are going to get a nice taper into this nail. It's not going to look wide and flared. Sometimes I feel like when you sculpt a square nail, sometimes they can look a little bit flared. So I'm just kind of bringing this product out and really making sure that I'm going to get a nice square nail. Okay. Same thing on the other side. On this side, I think we're looking pretty good, but still just going to kind of bring that down to the side, creating that square shape. Okay. I am going to wipe out my brush, and I've just got a little ceramic. It's actually just a little painting tile that we've got here. And I'm going to use my brush to kind of straighten out that lower arch a little bit. Again, making sure my product is coming all the way back into that corner. And then if I need to, bringing that straight down into that square. Same thing on this side. We'll just kind of bring that all the way back up into that corner. Okay, I think we're good there. So we're going to get this into the light. So let me get this in there and then I'll show you guys what's happening here. Because I can't move my camera and do that at the same time. So we've got the nail in our light here. And I'm just going to set my timer for a 30-second freeze. And what that's going to do is that's going to set my product into place so that I can go on to my next layer. And we're not going to have to worry about anything moving or sliding. So the next product I'm going to grab, oops, is somebody not trusting the process already, you guys? I literally just started the nail. But if you're not trusting the process, trust the process. And I promise you this nail is going to turn out great. Okay? All right, so the next product that we're going to use is our base gel. And base gel is what you always want to use right on that natural nail. This is what's going to have the best bond to that natural nail. Notice that I just built out my extension with that clear sculptor, but I'm going to use a little bit of this base. I'm going to take a little bit of that, just a tiny little bit, and I'm just going to brush that through. So we're going to brush that through that natural nail, creating a really nice foundation and just a nice layer for our product to adhere to. Again, the base is what's really going to bond well to that natural nail. And if you skip the base layer, a lot of times you may end up with your product lifting or separating. So never skip that base layer on the natural nail. Okay. I'm going to take a little bit more of that gel. And if you kind of look from the side, you can kind of see a little bit of a ledge right through here. I like to use a little bit more of that base gel to just kind of make sure that everything is connected, and that'll kind of flow down in there and it'll take away a little bit of that ledge. So I've got a little bit more of a smooth transition now between that natural nail and my extension. Okay, we're going to pop this back into the light again for another 30-second freeze. And let's close up our gel. All right, you guys. So today we're going to be mixing a color, and this color is kind of, this is where my little happy accident happened. So those of you that were here right from the beginning, I said we're going to create a color that was kind of a happy accident. So I don't know if you guys know this, but when I do my nails and when I do demos, I do a lot of mixing on my tiles here, and I don't always just throw this away. I know a lot of times people say, oh my gosh, you're wasting a lot of product, but a lot of times I'll leave that product right here on my tile, and then maybe I'll use this for another nail, or maybe I'll actually just grab one of my mixing jars. This is an empty mixing jar. And a lot of times I'll just put the last, those last little bits of my color or my gel that I mixed into a mixing jar. And let me show you guys what happens is, I've got a couple of jars here that these are kind of my catch-all jars. So anytime I mix a glitter in with my gel, I take those leftovers and I scoop them into this jar, and then I remix that jar, and then it comes as this beautiful color. So this jar here, this is kind of, like I said, it's kind of my catch-all jar. So this is for all of my leftover glitter gels. So the glitter gel that I've mixed, anything that's left over goes in here, and it creates just a really pretty, a pretty color. Let me show you one of my other ones that I have here. This is a little bit more of kind of a pink. So you guys, as you're, saving your glitters, you can kind of have a couple of different colors. So you don't always have to put the same ones, you know, put the colors into the same container. So maybe if you want a mix that's a little bit more pink and maybe you mixed a little bit of a pink glitter, you can add that to your into your pink jar. This one's a little bit more purple. So if I had mixed a purple glitter mix, I could put that into my purple jar. So you can kind of customize your glitters, but you don't have to throw away that glitter that you mixed. Save that and you can use that on another nail. But that's kind of what happened with this mix that I'm going to show you. Is I had some colors. You guys, if you were here with us, I believe it may have been last week on Thursday. But if you were here with us, we did a really pretty pink kind of a mixture. So I was kind of playing around with colors today, and I was using what was on my tile already. So let me show you kind of what happened with our happy little accident here. So let me clean off my tile. Get a little bit of that old gel off of there. So I'm going to start with a nice clean tile. So what I had on my tile was a little bit of Magenta 101. And you guys, this is actually the colors that I've got here today are part of our bundle deal that we've got on our sale right now. So if you're looking for these colors, they are part of our Manicure bundle. So again, this was Magenta 101. And let me think, what else did I have? I had a little bit of Build Pink. So I'm going to add a little bit of Build Pink. So Build Pink is one of our building and sculpting gels. So I'm going to add a little bit of that. So I had a little bit of the Build Pink on my tile. And then I thought, you know what? I think I want to do more of a red today. And so I'd actually put a little drop of Scarlet. Actually, you know what I did? Let me show you another fun technique here, as long as we're having fun with our mixing. So what I actually had done, I had that Build Pink, and I was going to mix a little bit of my Scarlet 101 with that Build Pink to kind of tint my gel. So this is another fun technique that you can do. You can actually use the Manicure color to tint your gels. So I had a red gel. So that was what I had kind of created. And then I thought, you know what, today I really want to be using some of the other colors from one of our other bundles. And I was going to use let's see, this is the pink opal. I was going to use the pink opal from our heart bundle that we've got on our website right now. And this is a really pretty soft pink opal. Okay, so I had actually taken a little bit of that and I had mixed that in with my red. Again, you guys, I was just kind of playing around just to kind of see what would come of these colors that I mixed together. So I mixed all of these together, and this came out as a really pretty kind of magenta-y, it's obviously it's got magenta in there. Let me come a little closer. So it's got a little magenta in there. It's got a little bit of that red. It's got a little bit of the Build Pink. So it came out as a really pretty magenta with a little bit of a pearl to it. But then I thought, you know what, I want to deepen this up a little bit. And I had my black opal gel. And you guys, this is from the Broken Heart collection that we've got on our website right now. So this is similar to the pink opal, but it's black. And so this one, you guys, I'm just going to clean off my spatula here. So this one I took just a little bit of the black opal and I added that in. And then it kind of softened it a little bit. It toned it down just a little bit, deepened up the color a little. And you guys, here's the thing. I'm going to show you what the original color was, and then I'm going to show you this one. And you're going to see that you're never really going to be able to completely mix the same exact color every time. So again, this was the first color that came about. This is the color that I just mixed now. So if you are mixing your colors and you're going to be using this on your client, make sure that you do mix enough to get through your whole set. You don't want to have to go back and try to mix a second time, because I can almost guarantee you that you're not going to be able to come up with that same exact color every time. Now, if I wanted to, I could try and maybe come up with that same color. Let me see, I lost my pink. I could probably add a little bit more of that pink opal to kind of lighten that up a little bit more, or maybe a little bit of the Build Pink to kind of make it a little bit more sheer. But again, you guys, you're never going to be able to completely customize and remix the same exact color. So this is a custom color for this client. And again, you want to make sure that you are mixing up as much as you're going to need for that full set. So don't skimp on it, okay? But that's why I do show you having those mixing jars afterwards. If you have extra, you can save it. You don't have to throw it away, so you're not going to be throwing away your money. But you have to make sure that you have enough to get through the whole entire set, okay? Somebody says, is the nail in the dryer done? Yes, it was done quite a while ago, but I just wanted to show you how I mixed the color and what I came up with for today. So let me grab, actually you guys, I'm closing up my bottles because I always want to make sure that things aren't going to spill as I'm working. So I always try to close things up as I go, and that way I don't create a mess. Because I kind of get, I get a little crazy here and I knock some things over. All right, you guys, I want your vote. I want you guys to vote on this. Should we take that color that was my original inspiration and mix that together, or do we like the color how it is? You want to see what it looks like all mixed together? Because you guys, sometimes I think the fun of doing nails is just mixing things and seeing how they turn out and seeing, what combinations look good. You like the color? Somebody says mix all together. Okay, so I'm going to mix them. And you guys, it's not going to really change the color a whole lot, but just so you can kind of see, this was the original color inspiration. This was the color I created. Let's take all of that from our first tile here. We got a little bit of extra build pink on there. We'll add that right in. Oops, looks like there's a little fuzzy on there. I don't want that fuzzy on there. Let me clean that off really quick. All right, so again, you guys, this is how you can reuse. Oops, there's a little Mylar on there. I don't want to put that one in just yet. But this is how you can reuse and save your products so that you're not throwing away your product or throwing away your money, okay? Okay, so you can see there's two different tones in there. Let's get those mixed up. And this will be our color that we use on our nail today. All right, are you guys enjoying this? Let me know in the chat. Throw some little Valentine's hearts in the chat if you are enjoying our mixture for today. If you're new to our channel, hit that subscribe button. This way we are able to just keep giving you guys more free education all the time. The more you guys subscribe, the more education we can give you. So hit that subscribe button if you want to keep learning with us. All right, let me set all of my things off to the side here. Okay, there is our beautiful hint of our shimmer opal in there. Oh my gosh, you guys, I always say this, but camera does not do this justice. This is a gorgeous color. I think it's going to be beautiful for Valentine's Day or really for any other day. So we've got that color. And we've got our nail is nice and cured out. I'm just going to pinch my form together underneath so that it releases from the gel. I want to make sure that is completely released from the gel before I pull it away because I don't want to break off that extension, okay? All that's really connecting this extension down here to that natural nail is that tiny little bit of gel that we placed right at that seam, okay? So you want to be careful taking that form off. But now you can see we've got a nice tapered square. And if we look from the free edge, let me see if I can adjust this so you can see better. Now we've got that really nice tight C curve underneath. Yeah, it's a little bit lopsided, but that's okay. We'll file that and we'll fix that up, okay? All right, are we ready for our design? Are we ready to jump in here? So I'm gonna grab, again, I've got my brush here. We've got our color. I'm gonna use that tile to just wipe out any of that extra gel that was in my brush from my base layer. And I'm going to come out there. There we go. Just going to scoop up a little bit of this. Actually, you know what, you guys? I am starting to see, I don't know if you can see that on camera. Let me come a little closer. But do you see how it's got a couple of little air bubbles in there? You can kind of see those little tiny air bubbles in there. I want to make sure that I get rid of those air bubbles before I actually go onto the nail. So what I'm going to do is, let me find my little spatula here. Where did I put my spatula? Okay, so I'm going to take my spatula and I'm just going to smooth that gel out. So really just pressing that gel into a very, very thin layer. And you can kind of see as I'm doing this, you're going to see those bubbles are popping. And what's happening is I'm just kind of pressing out those little air bubbles. So this way I'm not going to have those in my gel when I go to apply it. Now I am seeing a tiny little something or other that I don't want in there. That was a little piece of fuzz. And somebody had made a comment that fuzz is the nail tech's worst nightmare. It really truly is. So if you do see any little fuzzies or lumps or anything in here, just take those out, set them off to the side, and you'll be good to go. So now we've got a nice smooth bubble-free gel, okay? All right, let's get this on our nail. Let's go, let's go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take a little scoop of this and kind of swirl that end off. And you guys, you can just kind of start to put this wherever you want, creating kind of shaping. And today we're gonna kind of be doing a geode inspired shape. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of be placing this wherever I want to, and then we're gonna add in our geode look. So just kind of floating that product into different areas. I'm keeping it a little thicker. I don't want it to smooth out and run and flow too much. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take my little touch cure light and I am going to just set this into place. So the touch cure light is really just going to kind of help to set that product so it's not going to run, it's not going to flow too much, because I want a little bit of kind of definition. So again, just kind of setting this product into place so that it's not going to run. And then when I do my next color, it's not going to blend together, okay? All right, so we got that. It's not fully cured, but it's cured enough to where it's not going to move, okay? And let me think, do I want any more pink, or do I want, no, I think we're good. I think we're good on the pink for now. So I'm going to set that off to the side. I am going to wipe out some of that gel out of my brush. I want to get rid of that pink out of there. And now we're going to grab our black opal. So the black opal is what we're going to use to kind of fill in all of the rest of this space. So I'm going to come in here. Let's come a little closer. Ooh, somebody says with a gold outline, that would be really pretty. Actually, you know, I was thinking black and white outline, but who is that said that? Restful Sounds, you got to stick with us till the end and remind me that maybe I want to try gold instead. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm just going to pick up a little bit of that black opal gel, and we're going to just kind of fill in all of that empty space now. So just kind of adding that in there. And if it overlaps the pink, that's okay. That's not a problem, not an issue. But I am going to maybe use a different brush right up around my cuticle area. But we'll get to that in just a second. So kind of filling in, again, picking up a little bit more, filling in all of those empty spaces. I'm going to just kind of roll that off my brush. Just overlapping. Just slightly. Again, filling in. And you guys, you don't have to do anything perfect. If your lines are squiggly, if they're wavy, that is perfectly okay. This is a design where you don't have to be specific. If you're somebody who maybe has shaky hands, and you guys, I'm going to talk about this a little bit later too. But if you have shaky hands, this is just fine for you, okay? I'm actually going to go through with that touch cure light one more time here. Again, setting the product into place so it doesn't run and flow, because I do want to keep my product right in those clear spaces, those empty spaces that I filled in, okay? So just a quick freeze on there. And I'm going to grab my, let's see here, I'm going to grab my liner brush. So up here around the cuticle area, trying to use my larger brush is going to be a little bit tricky. So I'm going to grab my liner brush here, and I'm going to use that to just kind of scoop up a little bit of that gel. And then I can use that small brush to really tuck up into that cuticle area. So if you're trying to work in these smaller areas, grab a smaller brush. It's going to help to really get that product up close to the cuticle without touching. So you do want to be careful that you aren't getting any product up on the skin. You want to make sure that you're getting it as close to that cuticle as you can without touching. So I'm just kind of lining all the way around. Now you guys, I know on camera it always looks like there's a big gap in between the product and the cuticle. And again, on camera, it looks that way. Our cameras tend to be a little bit more close up and high definition, but I am getting as close as I feel comfortable so that I'm not touching that skin. If you do accidentally get product on the skin, make sure you do grab your orange wood stick. I see a tiny little dot right there. Grab your orange wood stick, clean that off the skin so that doesn't cure on the skin, okay? You always want to make sure that you're keeping your product away from the skin so that you don't end up, either you or your client, getting contact dermatitis or allergic reactions from overexposure to your product. So always leave that tiny little bit of space in between so that you're not coming in contact with the skin. And sometimes it can happen where you do accidentally get that product on the skin. So if you do, like I said, just grab that orange wood stick, clean that product off the skin right away. Okay, think we're good along our edge here. Just gonna bring that down. I think I'm gonna grab my larger brush again. Pick up a little bit more of that. And again, we're gonna kind of fill in those empty spaces. All right, what do you guys think? Are you liking the design so far? I know there's probably some people in the chat that are thinking, whoo, it's a hot mess. And you know what? Sometimes a hot mess actually turns out to be a really cool nail. So trust the process. If you're not trusting the process just yet, stick with us. I promise you this is going to turn out really cool. So again, just kind of filling in those spaces. And I think we are good. Okay, let's go ahead and get this into the light. And again, I'm just going to freeze this in the light here for another 30 seconds. We're not at the point of fully curing this yet because I've got one more thing that I want to add in. And I'm going to grab one of our Mylars. And you guys, this one is from the glitter bundle that we've got on sale right now. And you guys can see I've got a whole bunch of the other colors of glitters that are in the bundle. Lots of pinks and reds and purples and those kind of things for the Valentine's holiday. And the one that I'm going to be using today is called Peace Piece. Now this one, this is actually a really pretty Mylar that I use quite a bit with my designs. And you'll see why in just a second. But our nail is cured out from that quick 30-second freeze. And then I'm going to grab my base gel again. And we're gonna clean out my brush one more time. Guys, let me come back out here. I'm gonna clean out my brush, get that black gel out of my brush. Make sure my brush is nice and clean. Maybe even just grabbing a lint-free wipe and wiping some of that out of there. All right, let's take our base gel. And I'm gonna just grab a little bit. We're gonna apply a nice thin layer over the whole nail. But I'm really making sure that I get that base gel over the black because the black is where we're going to be putting some of that Mylar on. And I really want to make sure, whoops, make sure to get that little fuzzy off of there. I don't know where that one came from. But I really want to make sure that I get some of that base gel into, you guys, lots of fuzzies on here. I'm not sure where those came from. Let me grab that. There we go. All right, but we do want to get that base gel onto those black areas because that's where we're going to be putting our Mylar. And I am going to grab just a small little art brush. I'm going to pick up some of those Mylar pieces, just set those down into that wet gel right in those areas where the black is. Okay, let me come in. And you're going to start to see this Mylar really start to glow. Now you could add in other colors of Mylar, you can add in other confettis, other glitters, and those kind of things, whatever you want to create for your design. But today I'm making it easy. I'm just adding one color of our Mylar in here. So kind of all the way around those black areas where that black opal gel is. And you guys, you can see there's some pieces that are poking out. That's okay, it's not a big deal. If you want to, you can kind of set them down a little bit more, try to get them to lay a little bit more flat, but it's really not necessary. anything that is poking out, we are going to encapsulate this. So we're going to put gel on the top of this to seal in those mylars. So don't worry if you've got product poking out at all. Not a big deal. But again, just kind of filling in those black opal areas. Getting a little bit of mylar in each of those places. Just a touch more right up top here. Now, one thing I do see is a couple of little mylars kind of got away from me. So I want to make sure that I put those back into the black area, not into that pink area. I want to keep that pink. I want to be able to see that pink because we spent so much time and effort creating that beautiful color. I want to make sure that we're able to see that. So I'm just kind of adjusting, moving some of those mylars around, making sure I've got the coverage that I want. And let's go ahead back into our light one more time. Freeze that into place. Again, we've got another 30-second freeze in the light. Again, I'm going to cover up all of my containers here and close up my base gel. And then I'm going to grab our Build Pink. So that same color that we added into our mixture here. So let me come back here. All right, so again, we're going to grab our Build Pink and we'll grab that nail back out of there. Now at this point, we take a look from the side. We don't have perfect structure, which is totally fine. We're going to build up our structure at this point. Okay, so that's what I'm going to use is the Build Pink to build up that structure. All right. Let me grab that. So I'm going to start with right up at our cuticle area. I'm going to squeeze a little bit of that Build Pink right onto the nail and just kind of in circular motions guide that product from the right side over to the left side. And then we're going to squeeze a little bit more of that and we're going to work that down the length of the nail. Now notice that the finger is actually angled pretty close to straight down, maybe not exactly straight down, but I've got this nail pointing downward. So this way, my product isn't going to flow into the cuticles or into the sidewalls. It's going to flow down the length of the nail. So I don't have to worry about it running into the skin. Okay. So again, just kind of flowing that product all the way down the length of the nail, squeezing out a little bit more as I go if needed. And then we will just continue all the way down until I've got that whole nail capped with the Build Pink. And I'm just going to kind of feather that off the end. I'm going to go back to my brush. Now, if I need to, I can use my brush to just kind of make sure I've got enough product all the way around the edges. Move that product if it feels like it kind of flowed or anything. Just kind of adjusting. And then I'm going to bring that up here into my arch a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to get this back into the light. We're just going to freeze that into place again. So maybe another 20 to 30 seconds, and then I'm going to check it. So I want to make sure that I've got proper structure on this nail. So I'm just going to check it, make sure if there's any areas that maybe I need to add more product, I can add more product, and then we can go from there. And again, you guys, I know some people are saying in the chat that it's not looking so great. You guys trust the process. Trust the process. Okay. So I'm going to turn this from the side view. Let's see, I think it looks like we've got pretty good structure, but I feel like I just need a little bit more, maybe just right down that center area. So just a little tiny bit right around there. All right. I'm just going to kind of, whoops, sorry guys. You guys actually want to see what I'm doing here. Hold on. There we go. All right. So I'm just going to kind of feather the rest of that little bit of product that I added down to the sides, making sure everything is good. Now at this point, we're going to get this into the light. Okay, so just like we've been doing, this time I'm going to fully cure this now for a full 60 seconds. So I want to hit my timer on the light and we will cure that for a full 60 seconds. So again, you guys, at this time, most of the time you're going to be working on two hands if you're working on a client. So you're going to have one hand in the light while you're working on the other, and then you're going to alternate back and forth. So you're always going to be working, but if you do get to a point where you have one hand in the light and the other hand is done, then you can use this time to again kind of clean up your station, and put away some of your products, clean up your gels. I always give give those little tubes a little bit of a wipe at the end just to make sure that I don't have gel kind of squeezing out on there or anything. I can get those off to the side. I can clean out my brush if I need to, just give it a quick wipe on that tile. And then again, just gently wipe off any extra gel. I can take that handle, that brush cap, pop that back on there, and then I've got a nice clean brush for next time. And that one, again, we can save. We can scoop this into one of our mixing jars. But a lot of times with my mixes that I create here, I do just leave them on my tile and set them off to the side somewhere I'm not going to get dust in them or anything. Because again, I can use this maybe on another client a little bit later. Somebody might want that same color, okay? So don't just throw away your gels, don't throw away your product, save it for a later use. All right, so our nail is set. So we are gonna use our swipe again, and remember that swipe that we were using earlier to cleanse the nail? I'm gonna use a little bit now on one of our lint-free wipes, and this is what we're gonna use to cleanse the surface of this nail. So when your gel cures, it does have a tacky surface. So we are gonna just go through, cleanse off that tacky surface, and then let's file this nail up and make it beautiful. I'm gonna grab my dust collector and let's see here. You guys, my dust collector is, you can see it's plugged in right now. I'm just gonna unplug that. I had it charging up, but I think it's got a good charge on it, so we don't have to have that plugged in at this point. We'll get that, turn my dust collector on, and I'm going to grab my e-file again. So we were using that sanding band earlier. I'm going to switch that out, and I'm going to switch to my X-Cut carbide. Now we're going to leave that a little ways out so that we've got a little bit more space when we're using it. Let me readjust you guys here. There we go. And we're going to work on about I would say 14 to 15,000 RPMs. Because we're working with gel, I would say anywhere from 13 to 15,000 RPMs is about right. Okay, so let's straighten out this nail. Let's make it a little bit more of that nice straight square. So I'm just going to run my bit straight down the sidewalls, straighten out those sidewalls, kind of taper them in just a little bit if we need to. Let's come in a little closer so you can see. Same thing on the other side. I'm going to push back, just pushing straight back. Again, straightening out those sidewalls. Okay. So you can start to see that square shape really coming in. I'm going to turn that nail on the side. I'm going to push straight back here. Again, straightening out that lower arch. Any product that may be hanging down low, we're going to file that off so that our product is now coming straight out from that natural nail. Okay, we don't want anything at a downward angle. We're just coming right in straight. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the other side, but this time we're going to pull forward. You always want to make sure that you're working against the rotation of the bit. So that's why on this side I pull forward, on this side I push back. On this side we're using that top part there and then the top part here. Okay. So again, just pulling straight down. Now, we're going to straighten out this nail. I'm going to hold that finger on both sides. I'm going to use, take a look from the side view. I'm using a little bit more of the middle part of the bit. And I'm starting on the left side, and I'm just going to pull straight across. So this is how we can really either shorten up that nail or shape it and give it a nice square shape without having to do a lot of hand file. Okay? Let's take this nail. We're going to look at it from the side view, and you guys, what you're seeing is exactly what I'm seeing. So I'm going to come right up around that cuticle area, right around through there, and really just thin and taper down that product so that I don't have a big ledge at the cuticle. Okay? Again, thinning and tapering, and then I'm going to work right down the arch of this nail, just creating a nice taper. So I'm leaving it a little bit thicker right here through my stress area, and then tapering that all the way down towards the free edge. So it's going to be nice and thin at the free edge, a little bit more of an arch, and a little bit thicker right up through that stress area. Okay? Somebody's asking what speed is the e-file. I have my e-file on about 14,000 RPMs right now, but I would say when you're working with gel, anywhere between 13 to 15,000 RPMs is going to be about right. Okay, actually, you guys, let me readjust this. Okay, so at this point now I'm looking straight down the barrel of the nail, and now we're going to take down the bulk because all we did was file right through that center area. So now we want to file down those sides so that we've got a nice, nice contour, nice rounded surface all the way from one side, all the way up and over to the other side. And I think we're looking good there. Maybe just a little bit more. And you guys, if you take a look, do you see how my right side is still hanging just a little bit lower? I'm going to go back and I'm going to fix that. So I'm going to take just a little bit more of that product, straighten that out just a little bit more so it's not hanging lower on one side. Okay, that's looking a lot better now. Again, just making sure that everything is nice and smooth all the way through. I'm going to kind of check my thickness, and I think we're looking pretty good here. Okay. Now at this time, I actually like to switch from my X-Cut carbide, and that's the bit that I was using here. I will go back to my sanding band. So that sanding band that we first used to prep that natural nail, I like to use this one to refine just a little bit more. So I'm going to turn my speed down now to, I would say about 7,000 to 8,000 RPMs. And then I'm going to work right up around that cuticle area. Again, this is going to really help to get that cuticle nice and flush, nice and thin. And then just coming right around those sides. And again, you guys, this bit, it's very gentle, so I don't worry about cutting that cuticle area. I know somebody in the chat may have said that I'm getting very close, and I am. I want to be close to that cuticle because I want to get that product nice and flushed down, but I'm not so close to where it's going to cut that cuticle. Okay, coming across that surface, again, making sure that everything is nice and contoured, nice and rounded, nice and smooth. We'll turn and look one more time from straight down the barrel, really making sure everything is nice and smooth all the way through. So you guys, the more I can do with my electric file, the less I have to do with my hand file. So that's why I do go through and I try to do as much filing and tapering with my e-file so that I don't have to do all of that with my hand file. And again, you guys, I'm just kind of taking one last look here, making sure everything is as straight as I can get it, straightening out my sides, making sure everything is a little bit more even. Okay, I think we're good there. And then we're going to grab our file, and at this point, this is where we're just going to refine. So we're going to just straighten out our sides. And again, for our square nail, we're going to make sure that everything is nice and straight. You guys, let me make sure I got my nail tucked in there. There we go. So straight on the sides. Same thing on the other side, nice and straight on the side. And then we'll straighten out that free edge. And you guys notice that as I file, I balance. So as I'm filing on my right side, I'm balancing on my left side. When I file on my left side, I balance on my right side. And the reason for this is so that that nail doesn't wobble back and forth, okay? So when I'm putting pressure here, you can see that file or that nail is staying nice and straight. It's not wobbling. Same thing on that free edge. I'm going to hold on both sides, and then I'm going to be able to straighten out that free edge. Otherwise, as I file that free edge, it's going to wobble back and forth, okay? So nice and straight there. Let's turn this nail on the side. I'm going to straighten out that lower arch, make sure it's coming right out from that natural nail. It's not angling downward, it's not angling up. Just nice and straight out. All right, you guys, I'm going to just dust this off really quick. Sometimes you can just take a second to dust off the nail. I was trying to look right back into my edge right through here, and it looks like I've got just a little bit more product that I want to make sure that I'm filing right through here. But I want to make sure I'm not bringing my file in at an angle this way, okay? I still want to make sure that my file is coming straight out from that nail, okay? Turn that over on the other side, same thing. Make sure that we're filing that product straight out from that nail, okay? We're going to just taper everything a little bit, come right up around that cuticle area, make sure it is nice and beveled all the way around. We're going to kind of round out those sides. Same thing on the other side, rounding out those sides and making sure everything is nice and smooth. Okay, I'm going to look from the side view and I'm just going to taper in that free edge just a little bit. So I'm putting pressure with my file right at that free edge and just kind of thinning that out a little bit. All right, last thing we're going to do is we're going to turn that hand around. Come back out. I'm going to turn the hand around and I'm going to look at this really pretty nail from my client's view. And I'm just going to, again, make sure that my sides are nice and straight. Make sure everything's nice and straight. Make sure my free edge shape is right on. And I'm going to look backwards down the barrel of this nail now. This is what's going to show me any high spots, any low spots, anything that I need to touch up before we finish this nail. So I'm just flowing my file all the way through that whole nail surface. And you can kind of see I bring it down from one side all the way up and all the way over to the other side. If you just file with your file flat like this and you don't come to those sides, you're not going to be able to actually taper in those sides and get a really nice straight square nail. Okay, if you just file on the surface like that, a lot of times it's going to look wider and thicker on those sides. So making sure that we come all the way down to those sides. All right, I think we are looking good. I'm just checking my free edge right down here really quickly. And sometimes, see how I'm holding my hand in front of there? Otherwise, if I had that kind of that white background behind it, I can't really see. But when I hold my finger back there, it's a little bit of a darker background, and I can see and make sure that everything is nice and smooth and even. Okay, I think we're good. What do you guys think so far? Throw some little love in the chat if you haven't already. And also, if you haven't already, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Join our community. And again, you guys, the more you guys subscribe, the more we are able to provide all of this free education for you. And you guys, when you subscribe, you have access to over 3,000 videos here on our YouTube channel. So don't miss out on those. All right, are we ready to finish this nail? No, not yet. I know those of you that are in the chat thinking, oh, we're ready to do the top coat. Well, we're almost ready to do our top coat. But I'm going to clean off our nail first. And then we're going to give just a little bit of an outline, okay? Rachel Howling, settle down. We're not ready to do our top coat yet. I know you want to, but we've got a little bit more of a detail to add. Now, somebody was saying maybe we should add some gold. So you guys, I'm gonna get your vote on this. I'm gonna do a coat of protein bond, and while I'm doing this, I want you guys to tell me: do we want a black outline, a white outline, a black and white outline, or a gold outline? Let me know. What color do you think would look better with this? Black, white, black and white, gold. What do you think? Gold, gold, gold? Okay, you guys are saying gold. All right. Well, I am going to take your advice today and we'll go with gold. So I was going to use, let me show you what I was going to use. I was going to use the black and white from our Mission Control gel paints and do an outline with that. But let me find gold. All right, so instead, let's use Aura. This is our gold from our Mission Control gel paints. And let me give this a good little mix up. So when you're using the gel paints, you do want to make sure that you give them a good mix because they can settle a little bit, especially the metallic colors. So just go through, give them a little mix with your spatula and get some of that, get that color pigment up from the bottom, okay? All right, I think we're good there. So I did put an extra coat of the protein bond on our nail. This is what's going to really help to allow our gel paint and our top coat to adhere. Now, here's one trick that I am going to do. I'm kind of looking at this and I'm seeing a couple of little textured areas that the Mylar may have been poking out. So what I'm going to do is before I go into my gel paint, I want a nice smooth surface. So I'm going to grab my stain resistant top coat, and this is what I'm going to use to top coat the whole nail. So we're going to do a thin coat of our stain resistant, And what this is going to do, first of all, it's going to give you guys a little sneak peek here, but it is going to give me a nice thin, smooth surface to apply my gel paint. So this way I don't have any of those, maybe a little bit of texture or anything from that little bit of Mylar poking out. Now I do see a tiny little piece of fuzz on here, so I'm going to just wipe that whole thing off. I just took a clean, dry, lint-free wipe. Now it's not cleaning off and wiping off that protein bond. It's still got kind of that sticky surface. But you guys, if you do get those little pieces of fuzz in there, those little pieces of dust, don't struggle with trying to pick them off of the nail or anything like that. Just give the nail a quick wipe and get rid of that fuzz that's on there. I don't know where all this fuzz is coming from today, you guys, but it is my worst enemy. So, okay, let's get this into the light. This one, again, I'm going to freeze for just that 30 seconds or so, just to, again, set that into place, but give that nail a nice smooth surface, okay? And again, you guys, while we're waiting for that, make sure if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, join our community. And again, most of the products that I'm using here today, you guys, everything is Young Nails. So everything that I'm using is from youngnails.com, but we do have great sales going on right now for Valentine's Day. And most of the products that I'm using, the glitter that I use, the colors that I was using, the manicure, the gel polish, a lot of these different things are on sale and in bundle deals. So don't miss out on those great deals, okay? All right, so you got our nail, and yeah, you guys, it's got that nice shine on it. So you guys all got that sneak peek for you. But let's go ahead and do our outline. And I'm going to grab my micro detailer brush. And this is a very, very thin, very, very tiny little detailer brush. And we're going to grab a little bit of that gold. And you guys, I actually like to use my own nail as a palette just because it's nice and easy. It's right there, but I always make sure that I don't have any dust on my nail. But I'm just going to kind of dab a little bit of that on there, and I'll just use my paint right from my nail. Now, you guys, you can use a mixing tile or something like that, and that works just fine too. But this is just nice and easy. I'm going to grab a little bit of that gold, and we're just going to start outlining that design. So you guys, if you want a little bit more of a bold look, definitely that black and white is going to look really pretty. But I feel like this one is just going to give it kind of a softer look. So you guys, I really like your choice on this today. So thank you for all of those of you that voted for the gold. I think this is going to really be pretty. So good job, you guys. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for your votes. All right, again, just kind of outlining those black areas. And you guys, don't worry if you're a little bit shaky. I definitely get shaky from time to time, especially when I'm doing these really fine details, but it's okay, especially with a design like this. Having a little bit of a waver to kind of those lines that you're creating, it's actually just going to add a little bit more shape. Okay, so don't worry if you're a little shaky. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm loving this. This is looking so pretty. Great job on the gold. I am going to use that little curing light one more time. I'm going to just set this layer into place. So again, this way it's not going to move, it's not going to run. Most of the time the Mission Control gel paints don't move a whole lot on their own, but I do want this to stay really nice and crisp. So just kind of setting that into place, and then I can move on to the rest of that nail. So let's grab a little bit more. I'm just going to put a little bit more of that gel paint right up there on my nail, my little palette, and then just continue to do my outline, pulling that brush all the way through. And you guys, you kind of notice that as I go, I do pick up a little bit more of that paint, but I don't just start right where it ended. I kind of start back a little farther so that way it blends in and it doesn't really, like, you can't tell where that first line started and stopped, okay? So just kind of just a little easy hint there for you. All right, again, just outlining. All right, I think we are good there. Finish that up. And you can kind of go through and check and see if there's any areas where you maybe want it a little bit darker of that outline. I feel like I need just a little bit more over here. Maybe we'll grab a little bit more paint there. And again, just outlining, adding a little bit more thickness to that line. All right. Oh, you guys, great choice with that gold. Okay, I'm going to get that back into the light again. Again, we'll do just a quick 30-second freeze on there. And you guys, somebody was saying, don't worry, you know, watch your thumbnail and don't cure it. You guys, my nails are in such desperate need of a fill. I'm not even going to worry if I cure product on there or not. But just going to give that a quick little wipe while that's curing. And then we will finish this nail with our stain resistant top coat, that same color or that same top coat that I put down below. The reason that I use the stain resistant below is because it's a very nice thin top coat, so it's not going to add a lot of bulk to the nail. Okay, so let's grab this out of there. And oops, let me turn my light off really quick. Okay, there we go. And I will tell you guys one other thing, that the stain resistant right now is a buy one get one free. So make sure if you're looking for this top coat, jump over to that website, youngnails.com, and get a BOGO deal on this one. All right, you guys, now those of you that know what time it is, you can start our top coat chant in the chat. Looks like Ellie got that right in there. So yes, go ahead and top coat in our chat. If you're new to the channel, again, make sure you hit that subscribe button, but then you can join our top coat chant in the chat. And we're just gonna do one coat of our stain resistant top coat. You guys, I love the stain resistant, especially if you're working over lighter colors or things like that on your enhancements, because this will not absorb hair color or fabric dyes or anything like that. If you feel like you need a second coat after doing that little outline, there may be just a hint of texture on that. So you may have to do a second coat, but I think we're good on this one with one coat. So now at this point, I am going to fully cure this nail for a full 60 seconds in there. And then when the nail is done, this is still going to have that tacky surface on there. So once more, we're going to finish our nail by using swipe. And swipe is what we're going to use to cleanse off that tacky surface. Same thing, I'm going to grab one of our lint-free wipes. Just take a little pump of that onto our wipe. We'll let that nail cure out for the full 60 seconds. Again, give you a second there to hit that top coat chant. Hit the top coat chant too, but also hit that subscribe button. Join our community. You guys, I love when I see all of you subscribing to our channel, because this way I know that you guys are going to get some great education in the future. So hit that subscribe button, join our community. Somebody's asking, is the cleaner like an alcohol or acetone? You guys, swipe is actually, it's a combination of the two. Now, when I say it's a combination of the two, it is alcohol, it is acetone, but it is a very balanced solution of both. So I don't recommend you just trying to go out on your own and mix a little bit of alcohol and a little bit of acetone, because if you have too much acetone, you can dry the nail out. If you have too much alcohol, a lot of times what can happen is it may not fully remove either the tacky surface or take care of the germs and bacteria that are on the nail. So it is a combination of both, but you guys don't try to mix your own. If it were that easy, I would do it myself. All right, always finish your nails. And you guys, I always forget to show this because I work on the trainer hand, but especially in the wintertime, I want you guys to make sure that you are using your cuticle oil. When you're finished with your sets, make sure that you're using this to really help rehydrate the skin, hydrate the cuticle, and then also rehydrating that nail underneath. So your natural nail underneath definitely needs hydration, because especially if it's grown out, it may not be getting the hydration and the moisture from your nail bed underneath. So especially in the wintertime, make sure that you are using that rose oil. I'm just going to clean that rose oil off of the nail so you guys can get that final look here. So let me come in really, really close. So you guys, thank you again for that, that vote for the gold around the edging. I really like that. I think that turned out really pretty. So thank you guys for that. Thanks for being a part of our community. Thank you for joining us on our live stream here today. And make sure, again, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And as soon as we're done here, you guys can jump over to our website, youngnails.com, and see all of these great bundle deals that we've got for you so that you guys can create your own geode marble concoctions. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you guys back next time. Thanks, everybody.